And indeed, the tapestry hangings, the splendid candelabra and stately columns of the great hall in the Élysée Palace where the conferences are held make it a fitting cathedral to so solemn a rite. But despite his 76 years, it was a relaxed and almost smiling high priest who officiated today. General de Gaulle set the tone of the proceedings right away by making it quite clear that there would be no surprises. Here you can put insert number 1 from the Hebrew. After a brief reference to the fields he intended to cover, Vietnam, Djibouti, social affairs at home, and the coming parliamentary elections, the General asked for the customary list of questions. This brought us to the most striking feature of the press conference, namely the questions to which the General did not reply. Firstly, the subject of Ben Barka was out. He just ignored the whole thing, and the question, would a meeting between General de Gaulle and King Hassan help to bring the truth to light, remained unanswered. The General gave the same treatment to questions asking whether he would welcome a meeting with President Johnson, what exactly were France's present relations with China, and whether he thought Britain should now join the common market. Now to some of the points he did make. Once again, the President stressed at length the merits of France's policy of complete independence from all and any international organization to which submission, according to him, would make her subject to American influence, and he maintained that this policy was not only bringing benefits to France, but to everyone else as well. Turning to the war in Vietnam, he made it clear that France would not attempt to mediate, for mediation would serve no purpose. The United States, he said, could not hope to subjugate the Viet Cong by military victory and should therefore work to achieve negotiations based on the three conditions he stated earlier during his recent visit to Cambodia: withdrawal of American troops, neutralization of Southeast Asia, and recognition of China's importance in the world in general and Southeast Asia in particular. Turning to Europe, the General said it was thanks to France that the common market was a going concern. He clearly implied that if in 1963 and 1965 France had been the breaker of the market over the talks on Britain's entry and on the agricultural agreement, she had also been its maker by agreeing not to leave the organization. As for relations with Eastern Europe, he emphasized the efforts now being made to follow up the achievements of his visit to the Soviet Union last June by tightening French links with Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, and Yugoslavia. He also stressed the importance of the visit to Paris next December of the Soviet leaders Brezhnev and Kosygin, which was announced here yesterday. Insert number 2 from the Hebrew. General de Gaulle had a good deal to say today about NATO. He stated once again that France had only withdrawn from the alliance's military institutions and not its political organization. By April, he said, all NATO men and equipment would have left French soil, and NATO's land, sea, and air forces would from then on have to ask for special permission to transit French waters, territory, or airspace. This putting on of the screws was probably a form of retaliation for the NATO Council decision yesterday to move the alliance's political headquarters from Paris to Brussels. President de Gaulle referred to the coming referendum in Djibouti and the anti-French incident that marked his visit there last summer, and he made it quite clear that if Djibouti opted for independence, France would do nothing to defend it against any incursions by its neighbors, Ethiopia and Somalia. The last part of the press conference was devoted to home affairs and the coming elections. The only new point here, raised with an eye on the elections, was the project recently introduced by the left-wing Gaullist Member of Parliament, Louis Vallon, concerning the future participation of the workers in the profit and management of French concerns. However, the General did not give any precise details about either the form or the extent of this participation, which, he said, would have to be determined by the next Parliament to be chosen at the March election. For General de Gaulle seemed quite sure that the next Parliament would, like its two predecessors, have a Gaullist majority. We were treated to the usual lengthy litany of the achievements of the Fifth Republic, the stability of its institutions, and the despicable nature of the party system. And, as always, the General invited the French to choose between his regime and disaster. For him, there was no doubt what the outcome would be. You can put in the last insert of the Hebrew if you like at the end. קיבלתם? בסדר?
טוב, שלום.
טוב, שלום.
C'est terminé, monsieur.